So Grow at School is a 3-year program that we developed and was funded by the Community Foundation through a private donor. And ultimately it's about getting kids to grow food. We're really passionate believers in the idea if we can give children an experience of what we call food empathy through growing some of their own food, it's something that'll go with them throughout their lives. So we developed a program which is about sending those schools an identical school garden, basically, so 4 raised beds and the soil and seeds that they need, and a planting plan which is very specifically designed by us. We do the planting and send them videos each month during the school year to show them how to do it, basically. So overall, over that program, it'll impact in the region of 20,000 kids across those schools, but very importantly it's providing a long-term teaching resource for those schools and for all schools. So philanthropy is really important to GIY, and particularly I guess in our, we've been going now for 12 years as an organisation, so certainly in the first 4 to 5 years we just wouldn't have survived without it. But there's always aspects of that work that aren't particular, don't have a sort of a clear funding model, and yet they're incredibly important, and Grow at School is a great example of that. And so without philanthropic investment into those programs, we simply wouldn't be able to do them. So it remains an incredibly important part of the funding mix for us. It's really interesting for us. I think organisations have different skill sets. We were always very good at attracting corporate, partnerships and sponsorships, and never very good at kind of attracting public sector funding, funnily enough. I think philanthropic agencies and partners we've worked with over the years, that's something we have been very good at attracting in terms of a funding mix. And it's because they understand the unique challenges and the impact that social enterprises can have. It shut us down, so the busy cafe that is the heart of the home of GIY here was closed. It shut down our education work that we do here, TV production, everything stopped. And on the flip side, I guess, there was also opportunity in that it felt like the whole of Ireland wanted to grow their own food for the first time. And so, we were trying to respond to that increase in demand at a time when our income, had collapsed in certain parts of the business. The retail side of things was unbelievably strong. But it was in a really, really challenging time. And I guess, as always, our challenge is, those hundreds of thousands of people who wanted to grow their own food for the first time because of the pandemic, making sure that they had a successful experience with that. In general, I think it's pushed sustainability off the agenda. I think if COVID wasn't here, we'd be talking about the fact that the climate crisis is accelerating, getting worse. And yet we're all focused on COVID for obvious reasons, and so it makes it more challenging to sort of cut through that noise and reach people with a sustainability agenda. So we developed our own 12-week web series, which the Community Foundation gave us funding for and helped us to sort of really spread that and disseminate that as widely as possible. So we had over 20,000 views of that 12-week course. The return on investment, I guess, is that social impact and funding this absolutely critical work, and the work of social entrepreneurs, I think, is those donations and investment that we get through the Community Foundation. They sort of accelerate. They tend to sort of generate impact, but also help us to generate income ourselves. So it's hugely valued, and we're really grateful for the support that we got, particularly during the pandemic.